good. How was your day? It was good?
Pretty long.
No.
Pretty long.
I know, but tomorrow is Friday. So
Yeah, that's great.
yeah.
And it's Halloween.
Yeah.
That's better.
To be honest, I had to work on those holidays, so it's pretty normal for me. But I'm waiting for Friday. At least I can sleep so much more, on Saturday and Sunday. But yeah. Who is here is Karen. Hi, Karen. How you doing?
Hello, teacher.
Are you okay? Are you good today?
I'm sleepy.
Oh, me too. I want to sleep. Yeah, but we had to do many things. We had to study. We had to work. That's the real life. So we don't have another option.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes we don't want to be an adult, but that's the real life. We don't have another option. So let me please, give me a second. I'm gonna send a message here. Because there are some stores that haven't joined. So guys, join to the call. Okay, today is April. Okay, guys, so welcome to this listening section. As you know, my name is Maria Alejandra, and today I'm gonna be your tutor just for an hour. So let me share with you my screen. Yeah. There is another student, Joan. Welcome, Joan.
Teacher.
Hi. Okay, guys, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, that's perfect. So, here we have the topic, and the topic for today is the listening skill. Yeah, we are in a listening section, and the topic for today is listening. So I would like to know, guys, what's your opinion about this question? Why listening skill is important? Why listening skill is important? Okay, you can tell me your point of view. Not only focus on a second language. You know what I mean? Because sometimes when I ask this question, why listening skill is important, some people start telling me about English is important, and when you are studying a second language, blah 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 blah. And yeah, that's cool, that's perfect. If you want to talk about it, that's great. But even when you are speaking in your native language, in Spanish, it's important to listen to another people. So listening skill is not only for a second language. It's something that we must use. It's really important even in a native language, in Spanish. In this case, our native language is Spanish. So let's try to think why it's important to listening to another people, even in my first language, okay? So I'm gonna ask to Laura. Laura, why listening skill is important?
Teacher, listening skills is important because it's different to hear and listening and listen, and it's different to to understand something is different when you listen something, because it's not the same when you just pay attention or just left like that. And when you pay attention, what are you saying? Because sometimes when my students happen, I just say something and they do not listen. And when they realize, I just say something like for real, and they got trouble for don't like hear well. So it's different. Listen, I just like hear something that that's it.
That's right. Karen, what's your point of view? Why listening skill is important?
Listening is important because it's like a way to receive the information and understanding that we are hearing.
That's right, absolutely. Joanne, why listening skill is important for you?
Teacher, listening is very important in order to follow any instruction someone gives you. And when you want to have a conversation, it is also very important to understand the other person and keep that conversation going, because if you don't understand what the other person is saying, you couldn't keep a conversation, and yeah, would be a mess.
Yeah, that's right. Have you ever, guys, have the experience like there is someone in front of you, maybe a friend or a coworker, whatever, and this person is in front of you and you are talking to this person, and this person is like a pretending that is paying attention but is not paying attention to you? Have you ever lived that situation? Or there are maybe chatting, sending some message and not stare at you? Have you ever lived that kind of thing? Or have you ever done that? Because your silence is like, oh my God, I haven't done that. No?
Sometimes because when I was so tired and I had a long day and and
Yeah.
my partner comes to me and explain I don't know what tax for the the next day, and it's like, oh my god, it's for real. I don't understand it, but I play the role of understanding and concentrated.
Yeah, people like people are talking but that is like I'm not here. I'm here, but I'm not here. Okay, so let's take a look to this picture. Can you see what I'm gonna I think that is better. So here we have two types of listening skills. So Johan, can you please read the first one? Oh, Johan is gone. Is that you? He's not here.
Can I read the types of listening skills?
Yeah, attentive listening involves this part. There are two types, and you are going to read this part.
Okay, okay, all right. Attentive listening involves holding eye contact and maintaining good Mr.'s body language to show interest, allowing the speaker to complete entire thoughts.
Okay, I couldn't hear this part. I don't know if it was maybe your microphone. It was nothing nor a speaker body language to show interest. Okay. Karen, please read the reflection listening bowls.
Okay, reflection listening involves uh, repeating and paraphrasing what the speaker has said to show that you truly understand what they are telling you.
Okay, that's right. Okay, let me close this part. I would like to share with you a video that is related with this topic about listening. Why listening is important. Let me.
So listening is not the act of hearing the words spoken. It is the art of understanding the meaning behind those words. And when people say you're not listening to me, and we simply parrot back the words that they were said, congratulations, your ears work. That is the act. That is the act of listening. Um, but the art of listening is creating an environment in which the other person feels heard. Now you notice what I said there. The other person, and I used an emotional word, feels, right? I don't want to know that you heard the words. I want to feel. I want to feel heard, feel seen. I want to feel understood, and that is a learnable, practicable skill. So it's there are many parts of it. It's things like replacing judgment with curiosity, right? That's a hard thing to do. We're a pretty judgy group, right? To be curious why someone has that point of view. It's creating a safe space for someone to, as my friend Dia Khan calls it. So even if we find what they're saying just reprehensible, right? You're never going to be able to actually have dialogue until at least one of the parties gets the opportunity to say everything without judgment. And as she calls it, emptying the bucket. And once somebody feels like they've completely said everything, then they're more apt to listen to you. But usually what we do is we defend, or we litigate, or we interrupt. We point out flaws in logic, which is just frustrating. And when you point out some flaws in somebody's logic, because we're all imperfect when we speak, and we all choose the wrong words at various times. And that's not what I meant. You know what I meant, is what we have to say. Well, what if you know what you meant? Then why don't you say what you... You can see how this spirals. Um, uh, um, but it's things like when somebody says something, and there's really easy ways to do it. Things like, go on, tell me more. What else? And they keep talking. And you go quiet and you feel the space. Tell me more. Go on. And eventually, it's all out. And then there's a safe space for you to respond and express yourself in a constructive way. But that's correct. We do not teach listening, and listening is the way to create um, to build trust with someone. You make someone feel heard, they'll trust you. You know, um, it is the way to find common ground um, in opposition, in simple cases in business, but in more complicated cases in national politics, or in global politics, or in war. You know, why do my William Ury, who wrote Getting to Yes, he talks about the same thing. He goes, we have talk shows, but we don't have listen shows. He says we have peace talks, but what we really need is peace listens. And he, who's been at the table of at the highest levels of peace negotiations, he said people show up and start demanding what they want, and that's how the negotiations begin. Nobody starts by saying, so tell me why you came here. There's a great documentary that I recommend to learn this. It's called White Right, Meeting the Enemy by Dia Khan. In a nutshell, Dia is a Muslim woman living in the UK who was trolled by white supremacists to the point where the police got involved because her life was at risk. They told her stay away from open windows. That's how bad it got. The way Dia responded was by moving to the United States and going to meet the white supremacists. And she brought her cameras. I mean, you can see it all happen in this documentary. And basically, she gave them a safe space to feel heard. Now, that sounds mad. Like, why should she give them a safe space to feel heard? They should give her a safe space. Yeah, fine, good. Like, it's never going to happen. Dia sits down with these white supremacists, and she gives them a safe space to feel heard. It's extreme listening. And I say it's extreme because, I mean, they hate her, They don't just disagree with her. They want her off the planet. And she lets them empty their bucket, as she calls it, and then conversation begins. And because they feel heard, they start to trust her. And as I start to trust her, she becomes a friend. And then what it creates this paradox where I'm supposed to hate this woman, but I trust her and consider her a friend. And what you see is one by one, these white supremacists, these diehard white supremacists, start dropping out of the movement because they can no longer reconcile their beliefs with reality. And if it can happen in this extreme environment, then it can happen anywhere. And all that is required for us to cross political divides or disagreements at work and things like that is one of the parties has to learn how to listen. It doesn't even require both parties to learn the skill. That's the amazing thing. And it is one of the most remarkable skills that anyone can learn. The power of listening. Yeah. So the documentary is a great extreme example of what it can do.
Oh, that's really important what he said. It's not the same to listen that to hear. Okay, let me. Okay, guys. So now we are going to do a listening exercise, but in this case, it's going to be focused on the second language. So here we had some definitions, and you are going to help me out to match them. Okay. So let's start with the first one, letter A. Guys, can you hear me? Are you there?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so here, to admit.
Number 6, to confess.
That's right. Letter B, an action to achieve a result.
Maybe number 3, strategy.
Hold on, guys, give me a second, please. Sorry. Okay, so letter C, to behave as if something is true.
I think it's to pretend.
Yeah, that's to pretend. A situation where the result is very important. A situation where the result is very important. No idea? No, guys? Okay, let's try another one and let's put this one in the final, as a final statement, okay? So the water that comes from your skin when you're hot.
Number 5, teacher.
That's number 5. Okay. Oh. To give them the main point. To give the main points.
Summarize.
Mhm. For and documents.
Paperwork.
Paperwork.
To make something into smaller part.
Number 2, break something down.
And the last but not the least, a situation where the result is very important. That's really
High
obvious.
stakes.
Okay. So now you are going to listen the conversation and then we are going to answer the question, all right? So let's listen.
This recording is from the British Council. So, today's expert teacher is Gabriella, a university English teacher from Leeds. Gabriella, hi, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So, I have to confess, today's topic is something I am really bad at: listening. Most people say speaking is the most stressful part of learning a new language, but for me, with my B1 German, speaking isn't so bad. At least I'm in control of it, but listening, whoa. People speak so fast, and it's like my brain just shuts down. Am I just really strange and bad at listening? Tell me honestly, I can take it.
No, you're not strange. In fact, it's really common. You know, in exams, most people do pretty well in speaking compared with listening. Of course, exams are a different situation from real life because in an exam, you can't ask for something to be repeated or explained. You usually have just one or maybe two opportunities to listen to the dialogue and then it's gone.
Right, but in real life, I feel stupid always saying, sorry, can you repeat that, please? Especially if I still don't understand, even when they repeat it. And people out there listening, I hope you don't do this. Quite often, the person just repeats what they said equally as fast, and I'm still lost.
They do, don't they? In real life, you've got two strategies. One is to pretend to understand and get out of the conversation as fast as you can.
Yep, sounds familiar.
But obviously, that's not going to help if it's a conversation with high stakes. It might have important consequences. I mean, if you're just chatting with a stranger at the bus stop, it doesn't matter. But imagine you're at a government office or a bank trying to find out what paperwork you need to get your ID or open a bank account. What can you do then?
I hope you got the answer, Gabriella, because I'm coming out in a cold sweat just thinking about either of those situations.
The other strategy is to summarize what they said.
But how can you do that if you didn't understand what they said?
Well, you only start the summary. So you might say, in German in your case, okay, so the first thing I have to do is, and make it a question. Or, for example, and which office is that again? Break it down into smaller questions, and the other person will naturally start answering them. That way, you're controlling the conversation a bit more.
I get you.
Okay,
This
let's listen
recording is from the
again and
British
then we're going
Council.
to answer,
To
okay?
find more activities, this recording is from the British Council.
So, today's expert teacher is Gabriella, a university English teacher from Leeds. Gabriella, hi, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So, I have to confess, today's topic is something I am really bad at: listening. Most people say speaking is the most stressful part of learning a new language, but for me, with my B1 German, speaking isn't so bad. At least I'm in control of it, but listening, whoa. People speak so fast, and it's like my brain just shuts down. Am I just really strange and bad at listening? Tell me honestly, I can take it.
No, you're not strange. In fact, it's really common. You know, in exams, most people do pretty well in speaking compared with listening. Of course, exams are a different situation from real life because in an exam, you can't ask for something to be repeated or explained. You usually have just one or maybe two opportunities to listen to the dialogue and then it's gone.
Right, but in real life, I feel stupid always saying, sorry, can you repeat that, please? Especially if I still don't understand, even when they repeat it. And people out there listening, I hope you don't do this. Quite often, the person just repeats what they said equally as fast, and I'm still lost.
They do, don't they? In real life, you've got two strategies. One is to pretend to understand and get out of the conversation as fast as you can.
Yep, sounds familiar.
But obviously, that's not going to help if it's a conversation with high stakes. It might have important consequences. I mean, if you're just chatting with a stranger at the bus stop, it doesn't matter. But imagine you're at a government office or a bank trying to find out what paperwork you need to get your ID or open a bank account. What can you do then?
I hope you got the answer, Gabriella, because I'm coming out in a cold sweat just thinking about either of those situations.
The other strategy is to summarize what they said.
But how can you do that if you didn't understand what they said?
Well, you only start the summary. So you might say, in German in your case, okay, so the first thing I have to do is, and make it a question. Or, for example, and which office is that again? Break it down into smaller questions, and the other person will naturally start answering them. That way, you're controlling the conversation a bit more.
I get you.
Okay.
This recording is from the British Council. To find more
Okay, guys, let's answer the question here. Okay, we have seen a sentence or statements, and you are going to tell me if those statements are true or false, okay? So let's start with the first one. The interviewer finds speaking the most difficult. Is that true or false?
False.
Yeah, that's false. Gabriela thinks in some situations people can find speaking easier than listening.
True.
According to the interviewer, asking for someone to say the same thing again is one way to solve the problem. It's one way to solve the problem.
False.
Gabriela recommends pretending to understand if a conversation is too difficult.
True.
False.
Gabriela recommends that. That's false. When it's too difficult, no. There are some situations where you can pretend to understand somebody. If there is someone maybe talking in an accent that you don't know, it's not familiar for you, like British or something like that. Canadian people have a strong accent too, so that you can pretend. You can pretend if you are maybe in the bus station or something like that. But if there is something really important, just think about if you are working in a position, in a job, in a company. For example, she mentioned something related with a bank. So it's quite dangerous to pretend. Okay, number 5, Gabriela's strategy for managing important conversation sounds strange to the interview at first.
True.
Yeah, that's true. Gabriela's idea involves asking a lot of questions.
True.
What do you say? What do you say?
True, teacher.
Yeah, that's right. Have you ever lived that kind of situation that when you don't understand something and there is maybe a native speaker talking to you and you say, yeah, that's okay. And you pretend that you are understand, but you don't understand nothing. You don't understand anything. Have you ever lived that kind of situation? No? Oh my God. I'm so proud of you guys.
Teacher, I've never.
You never?
Teacher, in my case.
For real, you never pretended that you are understand something when you are not for real understand anything. Oh my God! Wow, that's cool. Because in my case, I have done years ago when there was a native speaker person, and it was in front of me, just talking to me. I was like, yeah, and I was like, I didn't understand anything. I was just pretending and smiling and laughing, but I was like, well, I wanna be just far away. But yeah, but we shouldn't do that kind of things. Okay, so let's move to this part. Match the expression. Okay, so here we have, I came out in a cold sweat. Any idea? Here we have the meaning, and here we have the expressions. What do you think?
Maybe you don't understand. I still don't understand.
No, real. Do you know what is sweat?
Teacher,
Yes,
maybe
sudar.
Sudar, yes, is sudar.
I was
So,
really nervous or afraid.
mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. So this is letter D. What about I'm still lost? I'm still lost. Number 2.
Eso sí es E. I still don't understand.
Yeah, absolutely. I can take it. I can take it, sorry.
I
Sorry?
understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying for I can take it.
Mm, no real.
I can think.
Mm-mm.
Maybe we
You are
can
guessing, guys. You are
no, no.
guessing. Okay, let's try like if you have a conversation with someone and this person says, I can take it. What do you think?
I won't be
I
upset.
won't be upset.
Mm-hmm. A little bit tricky. Yeah. My brain shuts down. Do you know what is shut down? Shutting down. Shutting down.
Cerrar.
Shutting down es apagar. Como apagar.
I can think.
Mm-hmm. I get you. I get you.
I understand what you're saying.
Exactly. I wanted to get up of it. Oh, this is really obvious.
See, teacher, I wanted to escape.
Oh, yeah. Okay, guys. So let's see. Here, I have another question for you. And then we are going to see if I can do a listening exercise. I mean, like a dictation and give you some words and you are going to type it, okay? So, but we are going to do this later. Before doing that, I'm going to ask you, what do you do in order to improve your listening skill? I mean, in this case, your English listening skills. What
Mm,
kind of things do you do?
me teacher.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to participate. Maybe I listen to podcasts on Spotify. Um, I don't know, maybe topics like mental health, and I also see some videos of the application TikTok, but uh, I I did one thing in purpose that was the was create an algorithm on English
Mm-hmm.
videos. I don't know, but
Yeah,
I
no
started
worries.
to like just videos on English, and they start to appear on my For You page. So that was a great, really a great how to say, strategy,
Yeah,
because
answer
my
time.
listening was go better and better every day.
Yeah, and that's kind of funny because you are watching something that is really interesting for you. Because if you are doing watching a video like or maybe a podcast or something on news, you say, "Oh, it's kind of boring, it's bored."
Exactly.
But when you are just watching that videos on TikTok or maybe in Instagram, you are like, "Oh, that's funny," and I understand it. That's cool. That's
Exactly.
great.
Also, I use Instagram to, and I started to follow page, but not English learning page. No,
Uh-huh.
like
Uh-huh.
I like
Influencers
the
like
fashion
influence.
icons or the musicians, the I don't know, the 90s, the 80s. So I started to follow page related with that topic, and that was an increase on my vocabulary and also on my interest on English.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. That's a great exercise. I didn't do that on purpose. It was just like I don't know. It wasn't on purpose. It was just on Instagram, and just like I like it. I like it. Just hearts in everywhere, and obviously the algorithm shows you those things. And then when you are start, using the application is the first thing that pursue you. But yeah, it's kind of cool because it's something that you really like. Okay, another person. What things do you do in order to improve your English listening skills?
In my case, teacher, I like to watch the interviews that people make to famous persons, or famous persons made like programs, something like that. I like to listen like different kind of accents, even if I don't
Mhm.
understand nothing. It is also part of the time. I like to watch it, or
Okay.
even a lot of girl famous make for budget for like makeup or makeup routine or something like that. They used to make that routines on English, so I like to watch that kind of things.
No, okay. You should try to watch the Adele interview when she is talking. There are some people that don't understand anything, but it's kind of funny. That's good. Yeah. There are some memes and videos like when you're studying English and you think that you have a good level, but until you listen,
Oh,
and then it was like,
oh
oh
my
my god,
God.
what is that?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
that's really cool.
Okay. Johan, are you there?
Yes, teacher, I'm here.
Okay, so what things do you usually do in order to improve your listening skills?
I used to
English
watch.
listening skills.
I used to watch YouTube videos in order to improve my listening skills. Sometimes I watch BBC News, and
Oh,
I
that's good.
can barely understand.
Yeah, sometimes quite difficult. But if you had the opportunity to put it a subtitle, it could be better. If you are watching, for example, a video news or whatever, just put the subtitle. If there is maybe a word, you can
Yes,
just
teacher.
go to the dictionary and that this is the meaning of this. Yeah, you know that. Okay, guys, let's try to do an exercise. It's going to be um listening exercise. Okay, I'm going to try to explain to you what are you going to do. You are going to type on the chat. It's a dictation. Okay, I'm going to say some phrases, sentence, or word, and you are going to type on the chat. So you have to be as fast as you can. Okay, are you ready? Yes or no? Should I? Is necessary to repeat what I'm in order to know what you have to do, or is clear what are you going to do in this case?
It's clear, teacher.
Okay, I'm going to be brief. Voy a tratar de ser breve. Okay, so I'm going to try to use just words. Okay, Number one. The number one word is communication. Type it as fast as you can in the chat. Without mistakes, obviously. Okay. Number two. Number two. Review. Review. Number three. Parents. Parents. Number number four. Sorry, number four. Employee. Employee. Number five, volunteer. Volunteer. That's number five, and I think that is okay. Healing. Healing. Effort. Effort. Let's see. Article. Design. Design. Pastime. Past time. Okay, and let's check. So, okay, communication, review, parents, okay, the school, employee, volunteer healing, for article, design. In this case was design, not besides. Okay, sign. I think what we have a winner here is Karen. Bravo, Karen. Okay, guys. But good job, Johan. Okay, guys, it was a pleasure to be with you here, and I hope to see you again in another moment. So, have a good one. See you around.
Goodbye, teacher. Thank you for the class.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, teacher. Bye.